Semi-ripe cuttings are a great way to propagate your shrubs, particularly in the summer, anytime really between June and August when the plants are in active growth. You can propagate all sorts of plants by this method, this hydrangea for example, but also forsythia, philadelphus and a whole range of the most popular garden shrubs. But the key to success is really discovering the semi-ripe point on the plant's growth so that you know that you're going to succeed. So if you take this hydrangea for example, I'm choosing an unflowered shoot and I'm bending the top of the stem because this is the soft part of the stem, the most recent part to grow. And if you trace right down to the bottom of the stem, you'll find that it's woody and hard. So tracing up through the growth, you'll find the point at which it's pliable but not going to snap. That is the semi-ripe point. So really it's just these 4 nodes here on the stem. That's where we're going to make our cutting. So when you're harvesting the cuttings from the plant, use a pair of secateurs and cut just above a node on the plant so that you don't leave a bare stalk that's going to die back. So snip that from the plant. Remember, where possible, to take unflowered material rather than things with flower buds on, because that's going to suppress the rooting of your plant. But don't worry if you can't find it with no flowers at all. Even just the smallest flower buds, you can take those stems as well and they will root reasonably well. So we've got our 3 cuttings and I'm going to lay them out on the bench like this, but I'm not going to insert those into the compost because they wouldn't root because they're not prepared in the right way. So the way to prepare your semi-ripe cutting is to trace down, as I said earlier, you want 4 nodes on the stem, and if you just cut below a node, getting rid of the woody piece at the bottom, and then go to the top of the stem and cut out the soft tip, because that will wilt before the plant roots. So here we are, we've got our cutting about 4 or 5 nodes in length. We can then take off the bottom sets of leaves about halfway up the cutting, and that's ready to insert in the compost. So here we've got 3 really good cuttings, semi-ripe cuttings, that are ready to go into the compost and hopefully root nice and quickly. So the next thing is that we need to prepare our compost. And I've chosen to use a loam-based or a soil-based compost. This is a John Innes compost, and the reason I've chosen this is that it's more solid and heavier and will stop the cuttings blowing over in the wind. So I've just taken 2 scoops of that, and then I'm going to add a little bit of perlite. Perlite is a very lightweight, expanded volcanic material, and if we add this to the compost, perhaps about half a pot full to this volume of compost, and mix that in, it'll help the drainage and stop the cutting rotting off at the base. Then take a pot. I've chosen to use a terracotta pot, and the reason for this is that the air can permeate in through the sides of the pot, and we're going to put the cuttings in around the edge, and that means that that will encourage them to root and stop any rotting again by making sure that the drainage is really good around the edges of the pot. Fill the pot with compost. Shake it and strike it off at the top so that you've got it level, and then a quick tip is to tap the pot 3 times on the bench, and the benefit of that is that that's consolidated the compost but it hasn't over-firmed it, because over-firming can cause problems with the cuttings rotting off too. So now we're ready to insert our cuttings around the edge of the pot, as I said earlier. They're firm enough to push in without any help, but you can use a pencil just to make a hole in the compost right at the edge of the pot, wiggle it around a little bit just to make a pilot hole, and then insert the cutting close to the edge, right down to the first set of leaves, and then just gently push the compost in around the base of that cutting. So repeat that at equidistant around the edges of the pot. Push the cutting right in down to that first set of leaves, and repeat with the 3rd cutting. So we've got our 3 cuttings nicely potted. Give the pot another quick tap just to settle it in around the base of the cuttings, and you're ready to go. The most important thing is to always write a label. Write down the name of the plant, in this case hydrangea, and also write the date of the cuttings as well on the back of the label. and put that in the edge of the pot there like that. Now the only thing now is to make sure that you give it some water. Make sure that you give it a good sluice of water. Use a watering can with a rose attached so that you don't wash the cuttings out of the pot, and then put the pot of cuttings in a sheltered spot in the garden outside, and they should take about 3 to 4 months to root. Make sure that you check them every week and give them some more water just if the compost has dried out, and there you have it. It's as easy as that. Semi-ripe cuttings of hydrangea.